Hey everybody, it's me again. This time, we're gonna work on Final Fantasy. This wasn't done by me. I have other cartridges where I did do this because I didn't know any better back in the day, and I purchased a non-working Final Legend of Zelda, and I did have to screw it out. So I understand where somebody came from on doing this one here for this particular cartridge. Now, my original cartridge is still in its box and it's on the shelf right now. But yeah, so we're gonna clean all this off of here. We're gonna scrub all this down. This is probably gonna be more of this here, and get that off of here, and then we'll open it up and work on the PCB. So I'm also thinking of replacing the battery terminal, just leaving the terminals on there, but to solder to it a battery holder, and have the battery holder in cart and just have it like right up above the actual PCB so that it's not actually on it. So in case these batteries over time pop or burst and get the acid all over the PCB, it won't do any damage. It'll just destroy this particular holder instead. I'm sure you guys understand where I'm coming from on that one. So yeah, let's get busy working on it. My day's going pretty good. I'm just chilling. It's a very, very stress-free day. I'm just relaxing it. I mean, it's Father's Day after all. And no, I am not a father. I have not had children. I'm 40 years old and no kids. Everybody see that okay? I should bring it over here a little bit further into the actual camera. You see how easy that it's coming right off. I don't even have to scrub at it. At least now with the eraser. At least it's not permanent marker. That Kid Icarus one was just miserable trying to get that off of there. 1 second. Sorry, there's some dead airspace there, and that's alright. It is what it is. I'm working at a different table too, in a different area, because if I'm going to be using solder, I'm not going to have it anywhere near where I may or may not put food. I'm just saying, it's like, you know, it's some of it's lead based. You gotta be careful with that label. I don't know if this is the varnished type, or the kind of the clear coat on it or not. So I'm gonna be very cautious over in this end here, not putting too much down. I'm sure I could find a new label for it, but I mean, the carts are already demolished as it is. It doesn't mean I can't find a new or a replacement reproduction cartridge, or a cartridge that doesn't have a working PCB in it, and to just, you know, harvest it. So on my favorite buy site, I placed a bid on an original Nintendo. It's missing its door. And I was like, man, if I pick that up, that's gonna be really, really awesome. So I missed the original one, and it has the, you know, the gray light zapper and it's just something I would really like to have as part of the collection. I don't have it right now, and I want it. It comes with 8 games, and for the price tag that they're offering it, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna nab that up. It's like, yeah, need it. And whatever games that I have left over, I'm gonna offer as maybe gifts for other people that play these games too. Maybe a giveaway. I haven't decided yet. I have a second Mega Man 2 that would be here, and I'd be stoked if I had a second Mega Man 2, because the best of them I would keep intact, and the second one I would definitely modify it, hammer out pieces of copper if I have to, whatever I gotta do to epoxy them down and get them back on the board again so that they're full contact, and see if I can get my Game Genie to play with it. Because back in the day when I was a kid, that's how I played that game, is with Game Genie codes and with the NES Max. That's another reason why I wanted that original console, is because I could play with my original gear. I can play with the Game Genie, and then I can play with turbo buttons on my NES Max controller. I missed that so much. I've even asked these the companies that are reproducing controllers if they'd be willing to make a new NES Max wirelessly, because I want that turbo button or the turbo feature back. And I know there's other cartridges out there, but I like the way that it was styled too. I like that you know, the keys on it. Here, there's again, sorry about the dead airspace. It's this keypad, this right here. I absolutely love that. Other people hate it and they don't like it at all. I liked it because it kept me from having thumb fatigue. I mean, if you're playing the game for a long time and you notice it, especially if you get like blisters on your thumb, you know what I'm talking about on that thumb fatigue. Or what they call a gamer's thumb. So, anyway. So, you know, sorry about the digression there. I was just recalling back in my day. Because Mega Man was just awesome when you could shoot consistently, constantly. There was something about the way that Mega Man would shoot would give you an advantage using turbo or rapid fire, as they call it now. I hope you're all enjoying these videos, because man, I'm enjoying making them. This right here is what I've been wanting to do for years. And I think I've said it numerous times where it's just absolutely therapeutic for me to be doing this. And yep. I think my rubbing alcohol is just a little bit strong. I might have to thin that out. You know, as it's leaving a film behind, a drying effect on the cart. I just want this stuff off of here. And having it this potent is making it less effort for me to work on it. And I could always put beeswax down behind afterwards. which gives it a really nice gloss again, and it doesn't come off like you would think. That you put it on your thumb and stuff, and it won't come off the cartridge onto your thumb, because it's just, it stays there. And you can use your favorite brand. I have a specific brand that I'm using, and it's served me very well. You all seen the Mario 3 cartridge. How that one had some of the most messed up stuff on it, and it turned out rather glossy and clean. Yeah, we're not looking for perfection on this cart. We're just looking for getting this stuff off of here. Not full restoration. Y'all know I'm just looking for playability. Because if I can get this one playing again, I'd be happy. I can, be like, man, this whole time I've been just spilling my rubbing alcohol on my mat here. My ESD mat. I'm well aware of the ESD factors. If anybody's saying anything about that, and if you're going to say something about it in the comment section, I was like, I know about it. You can put an ESD strap on if you want to. There are various consoles out there that you definitely want to do that with. You could take a look online to find out which ones those are. I don't mess with them, so it's like, it's kind of a moot thing for me right now, until I get a little more established. At the moment, I'm just using this as a hobby, my escape, or ability to share with others at least what I'm doing with my spare time as a disabled veteran. It's like you gotta do something, man. Something to occupy the mind. I might find something else to store my rubbing alcohol so it doesn't catch on the cotton swab. I'm just waiting for the moment when rubbing alcohol goes down in price again, and it's not such a huge shortage, and it doesn't have to worry about being the inflated prices that it is right now. I mean, I'm buying it up, and I'm like, yeah, I'm getting it for all the same price. At least I'm trying to, and I'm not trying to, fall for the price gouging. But I'm also not falling for the not being able to at least help the people out that are selling it. I mean, we're all in this thing together. We might as well do something for others as well. And if I can give back to my community, I will. And this is my way of giving back to the community too, is doing something specific. That's why I buy these games. And if I found a huge collection of them for an affordable price, what I'll do is I'll end up just buying it and then handing it over to other people that could really use the entertainment, or to families like that have children that are wanting to play these games but have never had the opportunity to pick one up because of the, you know, this, that, or the other, not availability or the cost of it or something and getting in the way. A lot of it has to do with just finding the games, because it's really hard to find some of these games. It just is. Especially if you want to make a collection out of it. I mean, I just commented on a Instagram post from a fellow YouTuber about breakfast cereal, and this was in it for a giveaway. Is your Mario Game & Watch? Yeah, this thing's so crusty. I gotta really clean it up and do a little bit of polishing here and there on it, but yeah, I love this. But there's a way to actually, when you play the game, you push the button down and you'll actually skip levels. So I'll have to, I'm sure my previous video shows that. But back in those days, I didn't make commentary. I wasn't talking on the phone, or I was basically a recluse. I was going through all that troublesome times with the VA, trying to figure out what the heck is wrong with me. We finally figured all that out, and it was microlepsy. So, give me a second, I'll get that tape off of here. So instead of having my cat pestering me while I'm doing this, I moved her chair in the direction so that she could see me working on this stuff. And now she's just watching me intently. Usually she'd be trying to jump up on the chair. I mean, the last time I was recording, she round, and I think everybody could hear her say something. I know a lot of people say something about their pets, about being people, and yeah, she's definitely a person. She's got personality big time. I could tell when she's having a good day. I could tell when she's grumpy. And she's not grumpy very often. I mean, very seldom is she actually in a bad mood. She's a very happy cat. I guess I should talk about my previous video of having Final Fantasy 1 codes up in assembly with Nest 10. If you guys want to take a look at that, you can. I really should make a sequel to it because I have a lot more codes found versus the codes that I posted with the original video. Unless I already did it, unless I already have it up. Like I say, I forget these things sometimes, and I'll have to take a look. And right now I'm just working on the therapy part of this, or the therapeutic part of this. It's just, you can see such a huge dramatic difference on just getting this off of here. It's super satisfying. something as mundane as cleaning an original Nintendo card. I mean, I'm back in the day, man. This used to be like a chore. When you were a kid, you're like, I'm just gonna blow on it this time. I ain't gonna clean it. And a lot of times, it would work. Then after doing that, you're like, I'm like gross, because just think of how much bacteria could be on some of these boards years later. I mean, not just bacteria, but like other things could be lingering on them. My number one would be tobacco. Like if you're a smoker and somebody goes inside of the actual cartridge, and then you're just breathing that possibly secondhand smoke right onto the PCB. And if you knew anything about electronics, cigarette smoke is one of the worst things for them, for any form of electronic. Okay, I think we're gonna be good enough. Here's this broken there, and this tab on this outside case. This isn't that poetic. It's broken here and on the inside. It's like, no wonder why it was taped. Alright, let me give a quick little wipe down of this and see if it will come up a little bit and get it kind of polished. Because I see it and I just want to try something on it. It doesn't need it or anything. I just wanted to make sure that I can get some of the grime off the cart. Just for S&G. And I might find something a little bit extra left over. Probably some tape residue. See, it needed to be done. Like, that could be the gold, but I doubt it, though. I think that's just dirt. Alright, let's open it up. Let's get it all cleaned. I am going to put flux down on here so that it'll clean it up the rest of the way. But, I mean, could you see that, though? I mean, it needed to be cleaned big time. I mean, the battery didn't burst or anything in it, but it still needs to be cleaned. So, let me get another piece of foam real quick, because I like having it as a standoff part. So I can press on it a little bit and it won't be too much. Alright, give me a second here. I'm going to go ahead and pause it so that the camera doesn't just cut out right in the middle of the actual, work. So, give me 1 second. Everybody, I'm back. Okay, as I was saying about the grime and grossness first, how about we wipe everything down, dry it thoroughly, and then use the eraser. As a potential cleanliness factor. Maybe I should put gloves on too, but I'm not too concerned with that right now. Just like that. You can see the cart line too, where it was wearing away on it. If this game works still, I'd be very impressed. And once I put the battery terminal on there and all that, like, yeah, they really built, Square really made these to last. Yeah, you can even see the bubbling underneath it, where the solder mask is separating from the copper. If that's what it is, it might be part of the method in which it's created, though. There's different ways that they make these, and I've seen ones where like the Commodore Amiga. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. There's a weird warp underneath the board of how it's created, and it looks really, really like terrible, but it's the way that it was flowed or created. Okay, now let's get busy in the nitty-gritty here. You know what? I'm going to spin her around real quick. Yeah, this is the first time doing this. I mean, so I'm a little... This is all new stuff for me. I have not attempted anything like this for years. Yeah, there's a little bit of flux residue here. That's... But there's tape here too and some other garbage, and I'm glad I'm cleaning this now instead of later. Just having that video from yesterday go up, or the one about the Wii power bar, or the Wii sensor bar. Yeah, Wii sensor bar. When I put that video up, I really wanted to see whether or not I could even steadily keep my hands straight for soldering, and now I know that I can at least attempt to do so. I will continue to make more or less technical. Hey, look at that right there. Copper's exposed even. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but right on that little spot right there. Yeah, a little pitting here and there too. I'm half tempted to go and get my clear nail polish. I know I shouldn't have it, but I do. I have clear nail polish, and it's specifically made to like encase or to fix these particular parts. I don't even remember where I put it. So I might have to stop filming for a little bit, go and search all over the house trying to find it, just to touch up the board some with it, make sure that it's protected against corrosion. And yes, I am still going to solder to this board. I want to see what that looks like after I wire it all up. Then I'll put it inside the FC Twin and give her a shot and see if she'll hold a save state. And then I'll keep people posted on it, whether or not it does. Wow, that whole cart. Look at that score line across there. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but that is one heck of a score line. You know, where the cart meets the board. Yeah, I definitely want to put some clear stuff on there. Give me a second. I'm going to go look for that, okay? I'll see you guys soon. Alright, hey everybody, I'm back. This is what I was talking about. Yeah, this kind of stuff, the no chip. If you have a lady friend, she might have this in her collection of makeup or cosmetics, ask if you can borrow that for a split second if you're going to be finding any of these particular issues on your carts or electronics. Because, wow, this thing is just... It's, yeah, needing this. Okay, so when I'm completely done with everything, it's all scrubbed and cleaned and polished up and buffed up with the eraser, I'm going to go ahead and switch it back over here so I can do the magic eraser now. or electric eraser. I would never use the magic eraser on this. Okay, that's thoroughly dried. Bring this up just a little bit. Alright, put my safety glasses on. Yeah, and definitely get yourself a pair of safety glasses when you're doing this. I stated before in a few other videos that you don't want any of this garbage coming off the eraser into your eye. I'm just saying it. It just makes sense not to want to do that or have it happen. And since I'm going to be working with a soldering iron too, it's always a good idea to have safety equipment on, your proper PPE, personal protective equipment. Ah, yeah, look there, baby. Let's see if we can get this into a mirror polish. You know, it was like, wouldn't that be something? I'd be happy. Yeah, if I recap on this code video for this game, I might go through the entire monster index and write them down of what number goes to what, and it'll be 255 by 255. So if you put in like 255 for the monster list, you'll get a specific type of monster, but if you put 255 in for the other, you'll get numerous variations of those monsters. So it's going to be like, oh man, what is it going to be this time? And I'd have to write it down. And if it's randomized, you know, I would be like, okay, so it'd be a moot thing to do. But you don't have to have a random encounter. You can kill Chaos, the last leader, or the head honcho, the big bad guy. You can off him numerous times and get the experience points and the gold just by setting it. Yeah, this is going to be polished. This is going to be nice and glossy by the time I'm done. Okay, what else do I need to do now? Ha! Took it right out from underneath there. Sorry about that, everybody. I think I'm going to go ahead and touch the board up right in here too, just a little bit. Really, I think just like this. I'm not going to run it. Just want to make sure that I get the garbage that may have actually come in contact with that copper. And in case it was blowing on over the years, that there would be any type of, breath, moisture, wetness, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I know a lot of ladies do not like that word, and that's why I refrain from using it. Yeah, I just want to get that all cleaned off there. And now I'm going to change out the tip too, so that, or I'm going to flip it over so that one side's not contaminated with the other stuff. And I'm sure there's probably some silk screen with that too. If not, it was that whatever the green goop would be on there. Okay, I am going to now, brush it off? Give me 1 second here. I'm looking for my brush. There it is. I was needing this too. Actually, I'm going to pause it. I'm going to go ahead and clean up for a little bit. Give me a second. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, this is much easier cleanup than it was with the other one. You know, with the other table I was using. This one's way lower and it feels more comfortable. Alright, yeah, I didn't want to deprive you guys of the joys of cleaning this stuff off. This is probably my most satisfying part of this. Okay, that's that. And let's see if we can get this all polished up the rest of the way with some ruby alcohol. I'm not putting too much in there now either, since I've been dumping it lately. It's a little bit klutzy. So I woke up today and it was the most craziest thing ever, weather-wise. It was really cool. It was really sunny early, bright early in the morning, right? It was really sunny, like hurt your eyes kind of sun. And you're like, okay, so it's going to be a nice day today. Crashed up for a little bit longer, and then I woke up again, and I heard thunder and lightning and all that. Look outside, open up my windows, look outside, and one side of my house, it was blue sky and sunny, right? And I was like, where's all that thunder coming from? And then I look on the other side of my house, and it was just a downpour. It was the most neatest thing. I should have, I wish I would have had the camera ready to record, and I wasn't feeling it at that time. And I'd rather just tell you guys as a story, because it was cool. I mean, to see it pour the way it did, and then it stopped, and then it would start up again, and it was just, one part of my house was dry, and the other half of it's just soaking wet. And I was like, what is going on with our weather patterns lately? This is the craziest weather we've had in, well, as long as I could remember. A lot of times now, too, it's coming from the easterly direction instead of the west. And this time it came from the west. So it's like, what is going on with our weather patterns? I don't know. It was just something really neat. Yeah, we're not getting anything left over. It's just, it looks pretty bling. Got a lot of scoring like we normally would come across from a very used game. Got a little bit of polishing to do on this side, a little bit more here. Yeah, I can see right there's a little bit of a streak. And that probably came from a piece of eraser. Just want to make sure I get it all up. Yeah, I can see the reflection of the cotton swab on it too. That's, maybe I might do that more often, is just use the cotton swab across it instead of my hand or my finger. Alright, let's work on the other side. I'm going to clean this all up so I don't recontaminate the one clean side of it. So, give me a second. Ooh, man, I hit that pretty hard. How you doing? I'm back. Alright, well, let's sterilize and sanitize this side first before we start grinding away on it as well. I'm going to go ahead and definitely hit this terrible cart line. in the cartridge or shell. What should we call? How should it be actually called or classified? Is it a shell line or is it the cartridge itself on the PCB? I mean, I'm trying to find a way to get the proper lingo down so that when discussing it, it seems more, was it educated or ease of use? Sterilize this real quick. Yeah, you can see where I'm going to be definitely putting some of that clear coat. The no chip. Oh yeah, it's gnarly. I knew I was going to have to clean it some. Yeah, I'm gonna do one more pass on that. Just so that on the more educated side is to not breathe any of that in either. Sorry for going. Alright. So eventually here, once it dries, and I'll start up the P.O.W soldering station. And I'll try to get that battery terminal put on there. I want this terminal on there. And I got a brand new battery to go into it. So I think that's going to be a very, very good idea. And while I'm doing that, I will have it inside the actual cartridge shell so that I'll be able to have just the right amount of wire lead, so I'm not using too much or too little at a time. Yeah, we're good. Let's go ahead and start erasing away all the years worth of farming with this game. You know what I'm talking about. When you're playing Final Fantasy, you're going to be farming a lot. You're going to be farming experience points or grinding or whatever they want to call it now. But that's exactly what you're going to be doing. Just to get your levels up and trying to get even into the first, to see the first boss is, yeah, you're going to be sitting there for a couple of hours. That's what I love about emulation and using some of those cheat codes, that you can get ahead a little bit further and then you can cripple yourself later if you wanted to, so that it's going to be very, very difficult for you to get any progress. Yeah, that eraser's up a little bit too high. You can see how it's bouncing back on me some. I mean, it might be the way that I'm holding it as well. I'm not looking at the camera, I'm looking right below it again. Yeah, that's a little better. It's not so wobbly. Careful along that little ledge there too, maybe not to press too hard to pick up a pad. I was going to say something about June 21st. June 21st is when I joined the United States Navy in 1999. So it's I think it's my 21st or 22nd anniversary now since I served. Time definitely does fly, but it also stands still. And what I mean by standing still is, I mean like right here on for YouTube, is that time is very well, it's not relative. I mean, anybody can watch these videos at any time. It doesn't matter what date it is. So it's not really relative. Alright, give me a second. I'm going to clean this up. I'll be right back. Alright, we're getting back. A little bit of progress here. My apologies if this video is going to be a little longer than my other ones, but I'm using a nice video editing program that it's kind of crazy. Whenever I add an effect with my my production tool, or yeah, my whatever it is, the ArcSoft software that I'm using, whenever I add an effect to like I don't know where like you could shrink in or just mod it, you know, whatever you want to do to make the video change to the next video, you know, that particular process, it it likes to freeze my PC. It likes to lock it right up. And I was like, okay, so, you know, I tried it the first time, it locks it up. I tried it a second time, it locks it up. So now you're only going to see a couple added extra little things here and there to the videos using that software. It won't be very overly, or it will not be overly produced. So yeah, we got all that cleaned up now. All right, let's polish her up. And then we'll work on soldering that new battery terminal on here. And then we'll throw it into the FC Twin and give that a shot. That's why I want to make this into a two-part video, but nah. It's all one thing. It's all about Final Fantasy 1. I don't know anybody that really, truly does not like this game. Unless you're not an RPG fan, then I can understand where you don't like it. But even the people that are hardcore haters of RPGs still respect the Final Fantasy series. I mean, just because of Final Fantasy 7 alone was just awesome. I mean, they got a movie about it. I mean, Edmund Children? Come on. And they have that excellent Blu-ray release of it, where it has extra video footage that wasn't originally in the DVD version of it. Yeah. Okay, I think I have a couple more spots where I still need to touch up around this area for the battery. You can see where it's a little grimy here and there. And can you see here too where the battery terminal, it shows it right there as a plus, and it says this side right here would be, of course, the minus side of the battery terminal. And I could pop these off by just going, you know, back and forth, but I would rather leave them there for a, I don't know, just for nostalgia, maybe to maybe somebody later on might not want the terminal if they end up happening across this particular cart. I'm sure that's going to be more of that tape residue. Yeah, it is. I don't know if you can see there or not. All right. Let's see if I can do one more pass with the, make sure it squeaks clean. Yeah, I really like that eraser going up and underneath those score marks. It's getting those pads really clean. Yeah, there was just a little, sorry, I don't mean to bump the camera. Just a little bit of residue there, a little bit. So I did clean up that last little bit on there. And here, let me use the use a cotton swab so you can see the mirror polish on it, or at least so I could see it. That one right there. That one too. Where it's a little high up on the actual pad. You can see where it's a little more scored than the rest of them. Like now, yeah, you can see where they're a little more scored than the rest of them. But man, that looks way better than it was before. Okay, give me a second. All right, I'm back. And move on to the little bit of the cart. I want to make sure that you guys see what I'm what I have to deal with, or there's that little bit of a line. Yeah. I've been refraining from showing this stuff too. Maybe I should start showing it. It's like right along this little ledge in here, it's really hard to get that clean without taking it apart. Man, that's the reason why this cart's this way, is because back in the day we were not able to even purchase or find secure bit. That's why it's drilled out. And the screws removed too, completely. And that's broke off there some. These poor carts. Okay. Good enough. Well, like I was saying, I'm definitely going to go ahead and wire this up. And since this is the positive terminal, let's go ahead and make sure that you guys see that so that you know this too. Okay, this is the positive terminal right here. So that's positive. And when you look at the battery, and if you slide the actual battery into the terminal itself, the outer casing is the positive. So we'd flip this over, set this right there, and we have it right. So let's get busy soldering it up and doing all the stuff we need to do. I'm going to turn on my soldering iron. I am going to snip. Here, let me get my side cutter. And my apologies if I bump into the camera during this. This is the stuff that is relatively new to me. I've not done anything like this in years. So please bear with me while I'm working on it. And I got my wire stripping tool. Just to get a little bit of it off of there. It'd be better if I do that off camera. get in there. Ooh. Sorry about that. That would be the cat. Get out of there. You're not supposed to be back in there. Come on now. What are you trying to pull? Okay, so it's not going to stay together, but there's one segment of it. I was kind of hoping that it was going to stay spooled together so that it'd have a nice little twist on it. But no, it doesn't. And there we go. And I'm not going to go buy audio equipment for car stereos since the wiring is different on colors. So let's see if we can do like that and like that. What do you think? Look pretty good? Or should we shorten it up just a little bit more? I think it'd be fine if it was up against this, as long as it's away from the board. I'm happy. All right, so, and never underestimate the power of having flux on the board. Oh man, I learned that yesterday when I was working on this thing. I was like, oh, how much flux do you have to use, and why? Why? You shouldn't have to use so much flux on this stuff. But you do, and it's okay. This flux is neat too. This is the like, it's almost a different form of flux than what I'm used to. Used to the more of the gel type. I'm just gonna set that right there. Bring this one over here too and get it out of the way. Sorry. Take some of that up and get it over here on this one. And then put some on this one here too. I'll have to do some cleaning, I'm sure, afterwards, but that's all right. Yeah, this is more of a flux paste, and it's water soluble, lead free. It's good stuff. I'm happy with it. You've seen how well it worked last time I was messing with it. Okay, sorry, I got to get my stuff out of the way here. Yeah, I got my multimeter so I could test it and check it. Get these wires out of the way. My apologies, I wasn't really prepared for this yet. It's kind of a spare of the moment. But I am happy with this. The outcome is just amazing. I love this soldering station. Yeah, it really does make a difference. You put a little bit extra on the pad, on the actual iron. I can put it right there. Perfect. Come over here. I'm gonna put it underneath it this time. Add a little bit extra solder. Loosen up the old stuff. Tin that one. Tin that one. See that little splat? Yeah, you gotta be very careful not to get yourself with that in your face and stuff. It's just, it sucks. Okay, clean that up. I might get my, you know what? Just give me a second here. I'm going to get my tweezers out. I don't even want to put my hands anywhere near that. And the fact that I was going to use the wrong wire in the wrong area too, that really helped a lot, that I just changed my mind entirely about that. I want you guys to be able to see this, so I'm trying to hold it just right. Get my solder over here. Yeah, I'm trying to stand it up. Quit it. Sorry about my hand being in the way. Quit. Okay, and we'll get out of the way some. I want to make sure that you guys can see this okay. Yeah, that's not going to work very well. I'm going to have to put more flux down for it. Perfect. There we go. I hope this is entertaining for you guys, because man, is this relaxing being able to do this again. Sorry about that. That was my maximum recording size. Get you out of the way so I can get that positioned properly. And you notice the reason why I'm using this type of wire? I just love Cat 5 wire. Okay. It's like, give me one more second here. I know I keep saying that, but this is all new to me, so you're gonna bear with me here. Let's put some more flux down on each of these parts. I just want to make sure that they're really rock solid, and I will never have to worry about it again for years to come. I'll make sure you guys can see what I'm doing too. looks. I think that looks really good. Let's bring her up and see what she looks like on the camera. Alright, let's clean them up now, get all that flux off there. Put some of that, this down, and put the battery in, and go ahead and see what she looks like when she plays on the FC Twin. What do you guys think? Sound good? I think that's going to be awesome. Alright, I can turn my soldering iron up now. Oh. Damn, that station's excellent. I don't know about the rest of you, but do you see how fast that soldered? How I broke it free, and then it solidified again. Oh, what I would have given to have something like that back in the day. Seriously. And now I actually have something that does that. It's just awesome. And the flux too, not having this flux back in the day. I mean, here, let me hold the cart down some so I can really scrub at that, get all that flux off of there. I don't want any remainder. See, it turns into the gel type. Or it, you know, it turns like a yellowish color after it's been burnt or cooked or used. See something else in here. Yeah, it's seen some extra garbage, so might as well clean it up. Ha. So now it literally has a battery terminal away from the board so that it will never end up bursting on this PCB. How about that? Isn't that a good idea? The wire's long enough. It's far enough ahead. I'm almost absolutely, positively sure that the back cover will fit back on it too. Yep. No spacing. I'm not pressing down on it. I can leave it flat and it's not going to be bulging out, and it's almost like it needed that in the first place. Yeah. Alright, so this is the part where I'm just going to go ahead and apply a thin coat of this on there, and then I'll let it dry, and I'll come back to you guys and show them the finished product. So, see you soon. Hey everybody, I'm back, and I use my multimeter. Check the voltage across it. And we are well within what we need to be. Here, let me get it a little bit further so you can see what I'm talking about. Can you see the voltometer? Give me a second here. Sorry about the bump of the camera. I keep doing that. Try to prop it up so you can see it a little better. Oh yeah, no, you guys can see that, can you? So yeah, we're at 3 volts. Right where we're supposed to be at. There we go. That's that. Hey everyone. Yeah, sorry about that. I changed my mind. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what I'm going to do for a small thin coat of this. I really don't want this being damaged any further along the way. So what I'm going to do is just going to leave a small... Ooh, that's a lot. Just going to use a small thin coat across where the cartridge meets of clear anti-chip nail polish stuff. This way it won't oxidize if somebody's going to blow on the card again. That's going to be a lot. And it'll give it protection over many, many years. Yeah, and it really doesn't take much. I'm just trying to look for spots where I might need to touch it up a little bit more. Wasn't there a spot over here that needed it more? Get my finger out of the way. No, we're good. Alright, so we're good on this side here. But you can see where it now is going to be a barrier, at least in those little small spots, so that the cart doesn't keep wearing it away. It's not my idea. I'm sure others have tried this too and done this plenty of other times, but this is right here. Man, this is awesome for electronics. It just is. For this kind, like low voltage stuff. If you have it for like a higher voltage, I would be a little bit worried about it maybe bubbling up or doing something from a high temp, if it's a high temp like chipset. But no, this is wonderful. I'm just gonna let it dry now. I'll be back. Give me a second. I'm gonna do the other side. Okay, everybody, I am back, and I cut down a piece of foam to fit in between this terminal and the other terminal so that it doesn't short it out at any point in time. You know, since I'm leaving it in the actual cartridge, or on the cartridge, the terminals. Yeah, there we go. And now it's time to polish this side, which I have not done yet. And I got a nice little spot right here that needs it. And I can see a couple other little spots along the... They're just scored up right here too. So let's go ahead and tap those. And then I'll put it inside the FC twin and play a quick game. Give me a second, I got the pop filter over here so you don't hear me breathing into it. I'm sure you guys can see what I'm doing. For the guys and gals, it's not just... one or the other. I wish this was able to be used on the contact pads themselves. Not necessarily being conductive, but just to use it on the contact pads themselves so that it preserves them, but yeah, that won't work. I mean, I could probably put it on a small portion of it, but other than that, it'd be kind of frivolous. too much on there. Sure beats super glue. Or something else that you have to... What do they call it? Conformal coating? Yeah, conformal coatings. Take a look at what that is. That's some crazy stuff right there. They make polyurethane and a bunch of other kind of versions of it. Oh, by the way, this is just to make sure that I'm steadied hand. A lot of it when I'm working right here on, I don't have to be this meticulous with it. I'm just being very, very, trying to get things to work right for myself. Because I'm just gauging this. I have no idea if I'm physically going to be able to keep this up. So... that's why I'm not taking any of this for granted. My apologies, this video might be a little longer than my normal typical ones. I'm going to go ahead and clean the bottom tray in here. You guys have already seen me do this. I'm going to go ahead and do this off camera. And then I'm going to go ahead and let this all dry. And then I'm going to put it into the FC Twin. See you guys in a bit. Hey everybody, I'm back. This time Final Fantasy. Game Genie codes. Yeah, and I'm keeping together with the rubber band. Let's see what it does. I like to have black mage and white mages with double hit points. I'm thinking that's what I'm probably going to go for on the cheat codes. And if there's any way for money, well, yeah, start with 800 gold. Oh, and it's 2 codes at once. Bummer. Okay. Do we want the gold or do we want the double hit points? How about infinite gold? That sounds even better. Come on, come on. I'm just waiting for the controller. In the meantime, here's the Game Genie codes. Come on, focus, focus, focus. There we go. Here's your codes. And you see the infinite gold right at the bottom down there? Number 37. I'm going to use that, and I was thinking maybe the white mage's hit points. Yeah. Alright, so let's go ahead and number 27, white mage's hit points. And then infinite gold. It's a 2-part code. White mage. We call him Yor. buy something and then sell it and get more. And since 200 pages, should be able to use the Reaper. The Rapier, sorry. They weren't worth anything enough to even buy them and sell them. Here we go. I think the red mage can use the chain. I will buy an extra chain just to sell it. Yeah, that's the way to do it right there. Oh, that's right. They can use hot magic, isn't it? I think so. Good enough. Now here we can just sit here and farm experience points and maybe money if I needed to. But I'm going to go talk to the king real quick and clear the first part of it. I gotta say, it's running and looks pretty good considering what it looked like when I needed to clean it. I know it's going to be a little out of order, but... Oh, actually, you know what? point of trying this out was to make sure it saves. So let me go ahead and attempt to do that. Yeah, I don't even have spells left. Alright, now let's see if we press the reset button and then power off, pull the cartridge out, put it back in, and see if it'll work. And we're not worried about Game Genie codes at this time. There we go. A little bit of soldering and a new battery. That's all it took. Of course, all that cleaning too. This is gonna be a really long video. I hope you all really enjoy this one. Thank you for watching. Have fun gaming. Take care.